Everybody? Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the Preacha-OK. I am one crazy preacher, ain't I, y'all? I love it though. Most High is the one that called me and appointed me. He know all about me. Trust and believe. I tell him everything. I tell Most High everything. Just like I'm telling y'all. This is how I talk to my Most High. I tell him all my good and all my bad. I confess it all. I release it all of it. I know we're not raised to be that way. We're raised to just show our good side and be good and to, ignore our bad side. Well, when we do that, we cheat not only ourselves, but Most High too. We cheat him. So here we go. I had no idea. I had no idea when my husband and I, ex-husband, but you know, he created the ex. I didn't. I didn't even sign the divorce papers, remember, guys. This divorce is his desire, not mine. I'm just saying. But I accept it. I accept it. I'm a big girl. I accept it. But accepting the divorce as I have y'all. Trust and believe. Mm, I must share the stories. I have to confess the good and the bad. He released me from covering it. I have no reason to keep it. I have to release it because he divorced me. I mean, it is what it is. We opened up the marriage after carefully researching the lifestyle for a year. I mean, like a year, yeah. We're researchers. Well, at least I am anyway. I have a PhD, heavy on the research. So I rarely miscalculate. Most High, Most High, you know what I'm saying, guys, has invested a lot in me. And he demands return. He demands it. We loved swinging. We loved it. We swung together. Again, we did about a year's worth of research. I wanted to understand the good and the bad of the lifestyle before, making that leap. It was a leap because you never know what's going to happen. It's such an open ended, risky type journey, adventure. And we loved it for at least, what, maybe 2 years? Before I share the story about his coworker, which was another engineer, a beautiful white woman, she had, I mean, her face was okay. Her face was okay, you know. We're older people. We old, you know, so our faces are older and all that, you know. But this woman had a beautiful white body. Her body was still quite youthful. And even more important than having a youthful body, I don't care about that personally. I enjoy all bodies, guys. I really do. I enjoy the mature body. I love the mature body. I like mothers' bodies, and I'm very I have a wide range when it comes to bodies. I can be with a man that's, fully muscular and athletic. Trust, I've had that type. I'm married. My first husband was that type. You know what I'm saying? And he was the college football star. You know, kind of like that best man holiday type stuff. He and I were kind of like that. But then you know, I can enjoy an almost obese man. Almost. You know what I mean? I mean, I have a wide range when it comes to enjoying Most High's creation. All of it's enticing and meaningful and beautiful to me. But real quick, before I get to the juicy story, I just want to explain how it ended. It ended, guys, and it ended. And it just hasn't been the same for me since. And how it ended was my husband was trying to once again, slam me, after he, had like took my independence away. And, we had been together a while or whatever, about 15 years or 16 years or whatever. He throws in my face that, you know, it probably would have been nice if you would have had a career, had, like your own money and stuff like that. He was kind of like throwing it in my face. And I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "So what would be the ideal woman to you right about now?" You know, I'm bold, y'all. I have no pride. I have no shame, no pride, no nothing. You know what I mean? At this point in the marriage. So we just talked, I entered his dark side. He was comfortable sharing his dark side with me. It came out in ways of trying to attack my beauty, dim my light, stuff like that. But I'm like, okay, sure, I don't mind dancing with the devil. I helped the devil find a wife. I read the story about King Ahab and Queen Jezebel. I read their story. I understand how dark couples benefit each other. I understand. I ain't mad at them. They're like the complete opposite, successfully in their own right, as divine couples. Every divine couple has their exact equivalent dark couple on the other side, like a mirror. It's just called balance. So once my husband, you know, went all the way to his dark side, like filled up every bit of that wing. We're at what, like year 15, 16, somewhere in there, maybe 17. I said, fuck it. I've been sleeping with him all these years any damn way. Let's go. Let's go. But he described that the ideal woman probably would have been an engineer, some type of aviation engineer, something that he couldn't achieve. He settled for being an electrical engineer, with the big three, successful. But if he could have taken another notch, he would have been some type of aviation engineer. And so a woman like that probably would have been cool. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, his coworker um obviously wasn't that, and she was white or whatever. And we're gonna get back to her. But, I'm a excellent, timely manifester for Most High. So Most High snapped his fingers, and here is some type of aviation engineer. I introduced my husband to one of them. We met her in the swinging life, and I met her first, and I introduced her to my husband and said, he's yours. And he received her on the spot pretty much. He was like, oh, thank you, wife. you know. So they dated like 5 months. She lived in Indiana or something like that. He had to drive 5 hours one way to get to her. Put it that way. So all summer now, keep in mind the sugar baby is living with us and our boyfriend is living with us. Okay. And the sugar baby was all his. Okay. She was like my charity case, just a young woman I was helping, which is something I've always done my whole life. No big deal. But he converted, the charity case to a lifetime sugar baby, which is still riding his cash app today, sliding up and down that pole. So the sugar baby living with us. Our boyfriend is living with us. And the reason why I said our boyfriend, because we intentionally that day went to a polyamorous meetup with the intention of meeting people, period. And when we left that meeting, we left with a man. And that man ultimately lived with us for an entire year. Okay. But in the meantime, he wants an aviation engineer type or some woman that's, related to, flying and shit, No problem. So here's one. So he dates her for at least a good 5 months, driving back and forth to Indiana for the summer, the entire summer. The sugar baby was so fucking jealous. It was hilarious. She couldn't handle it. She shut that shit down. She was the jealous type with our daughter. She was always, trying to fight people that my daughter was with. I remember one time my daughter had somebody else in the house. Well, she lived with us, so she was stuck with us. She had nowhere else to go. She was kind of stuck. And so our daughter had, some other girl, in the room or whatever. And so, she kicking the door down and the impact of her kicking the door down pushed her entire body into the wall and busted a hole in the wall. And I'm sure some fighting happened or whatever, they wild, buck wild, young 20, 21, 22. That's what they do, you know. I guess I wasn't like that. I was in college. So anyway, so the sugar baby like, hell no. My sugar daddy ain't gonna be like, she couldn't understand, like, why would you even be letting him, She didn't understand our agreement, and it wasn't. I ain't owe her no explanation. You here to get on your feet and go. So you got your own life. My open marriage was none of her business, and I didn't have to explain anything to her. I'm feeding her. I'm educating her. I'm helping her get to the next level. Stay in your lane, Hagar. You know? So, but the sugar baby's jealous streak wasn't limited to our daughter. She started acting, showing jealousy around my husband. I was like, whoa. mm. That's when I knew. That's when I knew. Well, I knew before that, but that's when it was just obvious. You know how you just have intuition, but then when your intuition, you see like real evidence. She jealous. So I let her jealousy work. I said, okay, we gonna use this. Cause I ain't had none. I was enjoying our life. Finally. Just as it was ending. I mean, it wasn't gonna stop ending. It was gonna end. You can't tell me how ugly I am and I don't feel any voids in your life. And you're not gonna slam me like that and ever come back. We going all the way, baby. I'm dancing with the devil in the dungeon. Period. That's the only way out. I stumped every centimeter, smoked out all the bitches. Shadower, dark side. The sugar baby is jealous. I said, good, because I don't have any. I had to use her jealousy. It was free. I don't have none, y'all. I'm enjoying all of this. At this point, I did my research. I met a lot of people, opened up Facebook groups. In fact, there's a Facebook group called Black and Poly. I was the very first member in that group. The group's founder, I call him my poly daddy. He's my poly daddy. He even had me come out to Oakland, California to film a documentary. You know, a lady that I was considering for a girlfriend, but she didn't make it. But I was considering her for a girlfriend, but she didn't make the cut, right? But anyway, she went on the documentary with me, you know? So, but I don't know if the documentary ever aired because one of the um, documentary owners, I don't know what you would call it, directors, owners, whatever, they owned the whole building, um, the whole studio. But well, she passed away. It was two women lovers, and I think they were in a lifestyle tour or whatever. But we were the ones being interviewed, so I didn't really ask a lot of questions to them. But so anyway, back up. I had no jealousy in me. I was helping my husband find partners and stuff like that. Grown folk stuff. We grown folk, grown folk level stuff. But the sugar baby was jealous, so I used it. And ultimately, she ended that relationship and he stopped being polyamorous. He told me he was done. And I'm like, well, I can't stop. I'm going forward. I'm becoming an expert in it. I'm doing documentaries. You know, I have Facebook groups. I have one called Poly Christian and Proud. I still have it. But it's not it's called Believers, you know, Poly Believers and Proud. I don't consider myself quote unquote a religious person anymore. But I am a believer, just like John 3:16 say. It say whosoever. And I like the word whosoever. It don't matter who the hell you are. When we cast the net, you better jump in. And we'll pull your ass up. And then it'll be deciphered, you know, who gonna be kept and who gonna be tossed back. Period. So anyway, I'm a John 3:16 whosoever type of woman. And I continue to believe all of my life. And I will not perish because of this belief. And this belief is not based on being any religious person. John 3:16 says, believeth. It don't say be any other type of nothing else. Just a whosoever motherfucker out here that believe. Do that shit. But anyway, so I'm in hell with my husband, all these lovers, and his sugar baby is jealous. Jealous to the point where she is able to control him. She couldn't control my daughter. She couldn't control me. She couldn't control my household. We were all blowing up all around her, busting all kind of moves because we are a divine family like that. And she was a girl off the street who was basically homeless and needed some help. Hadn't finished high school, never had a state ID, nothing. Came from, a neglected, abandoned type background, just a broken soul. Well, we in hell anyway, so girl, come on. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Help get her on her feet. But I ain't mad at her, y'all. No matter how fucked up this family is, they balling. We driving cars and, we traveling, we're balling. She couldn't let go. And the only way she could see to stay was my husband. And so she made him commit. Her jealousy overtook him. And I let her have it. What could I do with that? You know what I mean? My boys are growing up. I got kids, and I got daughters and I got grandkids and stuff. Why he playing around with this? You know? So I just let them do what they do. And I let her keep him under control while I handled my business. Got everybody grown. I knew what the assignment was, what the contract was. And I was not going to let whatever they were doing in my home, in front of everybody, I was not going to let it stop the plan. No matter how I felt, no matter all the stuff she was trying to do, she was trying to let me know. And I was just like, girl, it's still none of your damn business. You know what I'm trying to say? Whatever he telling you, that's what you got to roll with. I still didn't open my mouth about what was going on. It was none of her damn business, really. I'm a grown ass woman. This is my home. That's my man. And whatever. Do you, boo? Do you? I ain't mad at any woman that's trying to secure her bag. How can I be? I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad. All she getting is just diaper money anyway. Even if she hadn't had kids at that moment in time. But at the point was, it's diaper money. She was diaper. You know what I'm saying? So that's when my husband exited the poly scene with me anyway. Of course, he was still living his best life in secret that she didn't know about. When you're young, dumb, chewing bubblegum, and desperate, You ain't gonna know all that secret stuff that they do. You know, he was just turned on by the fact that she had a desire to do anything, whatever, go for it. So I just put her to work. Okay, you're gonna do this, do that, do that. And I got other shit to do. So, everything was smooth. She got her allowance, she got her car, she got her eventually, own place, all this kind of stuff. Whatever. Her own actual house that we bought. That's what I mean by place, not like some apartment that we pay rent. I gotta be able to claim everything on taxes. By this time, once by this time we claiming her on our taxes. I'm a businesswoman. This has to make sense to me from top to bottom, you know. So when she started having babies and her mama moved in and all this kind of stuff, all them on our taxes. Well, he is. He is. I'll put it that way. He is. You gotta have a paper trail, ladies. Shadow work, paper trail, evidence, proof, pictures, whatever you can get. And whatever I did for him, I did for me. You know what I'm saying? I got pictures of myself having a great time in Jamaica, naked on the beach, whatever I'm doing, whatever. Again, you have to treat people not only as well as yourself, but as bad as yourself. That's the part people don't teach. I had to treat him as bad as I treated myself. Because guess what? He most definitely was treating me as bad as he was treating himself. And he was good at it. So for a little while, I had to take off my cloak of divinity for just a little while. And I had to go down in the dungeon and dance with the motherfucking devil until he had a wife. Bree baby. That's where jealousy led my husband. The sugar baby's jealousy led my husband straight to the bottom of the bottomless pit to find a wife for life. He can't leave this white woman if he wanted to. And that's what I call diving deep. You have to dive deep in the ocean for that kind of motion. So all I could do was pull the rope, and keep pulling the rope. Most High, please save me. Please, please pull me out of this. Get me, get me. And he did, y'all. I ain't been in no man's bed in 2 years. I ain't been in no man's bed in 2 years. I am untouched. And so many have come after me. Some with churches, some with networks, some with all kind of things, guys. Offers. But Most High kept pulling me through and pulling me through and pulling me through and pulling me through. And now I'm here, guys. I'm here. Ain't been in no man's bed in 2 years. But my husband and I locked eyes, somewhere in Lake Orion, Michigan, with his coworker and her husband. She had nipple rings. He played with one. I played with the other. We never